When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gain, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gain.
Cass and I have a continuation follow-up / next phase to our last episode. We're going to talk about breakthroughs after a breakdown.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to jump in.
I know, this day is so awesome.
This day, yes, I know. This past week has been amazing. It's all gonna come out. Cass and I couldn't stop talking about it on the phone, just all the excitement and inspiration.
Yeah,
what are you excited about, Cass?
Everything.
It's true.
It is true. Like my life, oh my gosh, literally there's like so much. So it's funny because I was like, oh, I'm going to be so excited about, because sometimes during the week, I don't know if you do this, but when things happen, I'm like, oh, this is going to be what I'm sharing. I'm excited about.
Totally do. I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember
special.
that.
Yeah. And so that was going to be that I'm, launching this part of my business that includes business and growing your business LOA. And I'm going to do a challenge, like a client attraction challenge. And like that, I was super excited about that. And then I got off the phone with a PR person this morning and a book marketing person. And we were mapping out literally my next 3 years of releasing books and like just getting so excited about a book that which ties into our topic actually, because we're going to talk about, the breakthrough, but also inspired action, because that's what happens. And I've been wanting to write this book for at least 2 years. And it's not that I've outlined it. It's right there. It just hasn't been the right time yet. It just hasn't felt the full inspiration. And now I know why. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited about that. Yeah.
And we don't know why until it's happening.
Right? Yes.
One of the things we'll talk about. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So what are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about pretty much the same thing. I'm excited about my breakthrough, which you guys are going to hear about.
Yes.
And I know. There's going to be an email coming in on Tuesday that's going to explain all the goodness in that. And there's so many elements I want to share, but it's the biggest to highlight it. I'm about to launch one of like my big dreams, which is creating a community around Live Your Truth. And I don't even have the words to express how excited I am. And I don't even know what it's going to be yet, but I know it's perfect.
Yay. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah.
So let's just jump right in, because this happened. You guys heard, and I have received so many comments about last week, about the breakdown. And it was the day after that through a series of small, unexpected events, I was led to the breakthrough. And this was an idea that seeds have been planted. I was telling Cassie, like years ago, I was like, remember when I said I wanted to work with vibrational leaders? And we talked about that. And it's like, hey, people aren't really looking to be a vibrational leader. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, there's the power. I want, help people be the change through their biggest power, which is accessing their vibrational power. And so that's years ago. I mean, this is ultimately going way back to the beginning of business. And then little pieces are falling into place more and more and more. And I was saying to Lisa this morning, like, I'm the only one that knows all these little pieces. And you guys are the only ones that know all the little pieces to your dreams. And I think we've said this before, how it's those things that make it so satisfying to observe as you have this awareness, and to not take action on one thing right away and how it feels so much better when it does come out. You're like, that's what I was waiting for. Or that's what it was, when the perfect opportunity does come. And so I don't know, I guess I should go into more detail about the specifics. So I was talking to a client who led me to a video, who led me to a group, who led me to a new opportunity. So this new opportunity to learn how to create this community. And I didn't even know this existed. And as soon as it was like, no, this is the best part. As soon as it was brought into my awareness, hey, this is an option. This is a vessel where you can do this in the world. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. This fits this, everything I want. And then I'm like, oh, this is what Cassie's been doing. The system she's been using in her business. Oh, we had a good laugh over that. And so the cool thing about it is how I want to pull out the highlighted parts of this breakthrough. Okay. So same as we talked about inspired action, it came unexpectedly. I could not have planned this. And I knew something was coming at the beginning of the year. I've been talking about this. I've been expressing, hey, I know something's coming. Hey, I'm shifting. And this is it. And you know it when it comes. And there's no doubts. There's no questions. And that's how you know it's the right path. And if you're someone who's out there wondering, should I do this? Should I do that? How should I do this? It's not the time yet. And you just know when it's right.
Yeah. Can I say something about no doubts that I want to clarify for our listeners?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you say no doubts, it means like you're sharing that with them. Like there's literally there's no thoughts that even entertain doubts because it's so inspired. Yeah. Right? Like It's not like, oh, I have a little doubt and I work through it. Like that's a doubt.
Yes.
Like and that isn't full on that the inspiration hose isn't fully open if there's like a doubt you have to work through.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I totally agree. Yeah. Totally, yeah. I don't want to get too off topic, but it reminds me about like relationships and when I used to have doubts in relationships and it was a sign I didn't fully trust it at the time that wasn't the right person. And, with Lisa, there was never any doubt. It feels exactly like this, complete clarity. And even when I had, so jumping back to this opportunity, even because it feels big, another reason I know it's right it feels big is it feels that little bit scary, but the scary is not a doubt. It's not fear. Okay. It's like uncomfortable because I know I'm going to have to show up bigger, and uncomfortable because it's going to be a new experience. It's scared, but not doubt. And even when I did have the thought of, oh my gosh, this is my dream. Like, what if this doesn't work out? The second that followed that was like, it doesn't matter because this is my dream. Like, it's going to work out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that again.
So
say it again.
So even when I had the thought, like, what if this doesn't work out? It was the second that followed it it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. This is my dream. It's going to work out. It doesn't matter. Like if it doesn't turn out the way I think it should in this moment, or not, as successful as I dream of being in 1 month, that doesn't matter because I'm doing what I dream of doing. And that's the most important thing. And I know that the universe responds to that. It makes me think of that quote by Paulo Coelho. I don't know exactly how to say his name, the alchemist guy. And I say this all the time, but when you follow your heart's desire, the universe conspires to support you in all ways. It's not exactly it, but I feel this now. Like when you're going after what you really want and you're clear about that, and you feel it. You feel that power. You feel the support, and it's not tangible. you can't see this, you can't grasp it,
Mhm.
but you're in your power, and it doesn't matter. The little things don't matter so much.
Right.
Another one of the things that happened, I didn't share this with you, Cass, but being part of this group that's learning how to move through this and create this opportunity for people, I had to show up in a group, and I'm not normally the person that does that because it's vulnerable. Oh, you guys are gonna laugh. I'm gonna just share this. So I made this post in a group, and it only got 4 likes. And I was like, oh man, that person's post got 30 likes and this person's post got 25. And it was posting personal things out there. My post only got 4 likes. And I had that moment of like, oh man, this is vulnerable. And I'm like, then it was like that, being that of that awareness, and then be like, this is so much bigger than me. Like, this does not matter. And so when you're connected to where you want to go and to that purpose, what you're creating, there is no fear. There's no doubt. And when it does come in, it's so inconsequential. It doesn't even pull you off track at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know I just covered a lot there.
I know. I'm like, okay, there's so many pieces. Yeah. So do you want me to, do you think we should just like try and break that apart? Or do you want me to tell my like inspiration that's just hit, and then we can kind of break them apart?
Yeah. Give your example, and then let's pick out the pieces.
Oh my gosh. So fun. So, and one of the things, okay, I'll save that. I was taking notes during yours. But so for me, one of the things that came over the weekend, which I think it started on Thursday or Friday, is something that has been brewing for a long time. And it's actually something that I did. I thought, I don't know how to say it, because what I'm creating, the Enchanted Business Circle, actually existed 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, because I thought that was the next step. And it was the next step. It was hugely the next step because it let me see where the gap was, right? Which is the same thing I was thinking as you were going through your story, is people weren't looking to be vibrational leaders, but once you teach them who to be, like once you help them create and learn the law of attraction, then they want that next step.
Yes. Yep.
And so often, like when we're talking about business, our ideas go backwards sometimes, because we both have to become, but we also have to bring our clients along to the point where they're ready to work in this certain way with us.
Yep.
Which is probably something you'll never, you really don't hear. We don't hear how to do that from a lot of business coaches. But anyway, so this existed, right? This idea existed in the past, just not like this. And so, I've known it's coming. I've seen a couple of my clients, I'm like, they need something more. And when I check in, they're like, no, I'm good. I'm getting everything I need. I'm like, okay. But then I see and I hear some actions and I'm like, I do, but you're searching for something. In fact, I said this to one of my clients. I said, I see you searching for this answer. And she goes, yeah, I have been searching for this answer. She goes, I didn't know it. She goes, yeah, she was. She was like, it's interesting. You could pull that out. And I said, yeah. She goes, yeah. I opened a podcast today and I started listening to someone about how to grow my business. And I was like, this isn't for me. And I shut it down. And I said, yeah, but you've been looking, you've been needing this, right? So it's both. Sometimes inspired action is about the other things being ready and you being ready.
Yeah.
So, I've created the Enchanted Business Circle, which is, when you're ready to take your business to that next level, you've got your money mindset foundation, you've got your future self, and we'll talk about the 3-legged stool in a little bit. But it was so inspired in one moment, and it just opened up. And I've tried to work on this project. So it was a year ago that somebody came to me and specifically said, we want you to be our business coach for our business. It was already they're super successful business. They're amazing. And I was like, okay. And I said, I was like, how do I do that? Right? And it wasn't that I didn't think I could be their business coach, but it was both, how could I support them in the way that they want to be supported and move them forward? And the answer was, sometimes we got to say no, right? And it wasn't necessarily no, but it was, okay, I know you want X, but in order for me to give you that, you have to lay your money foundation first, and you have to get to know your future self, because I can't coach you to this next level until we know both of those things. Because when I coach, I'm not coaching you for today or next month's business or numbers. I'm coaching you for 5 years out. Like, who do you want to be in 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And which I will always love their quote. They were like, yeah, that's why we came to you, because we don't want to build a castle we don't want to live in. And I was like,
that's
yep,
so
that's
good.
me, right?
Yeah.
And so, they had asked, and so, and when they got to the point, like, I was like, okay, it's kind of time to create something. And it just didn't feel it. I even sort of announced it to my group, and I said, who would be interested, taking it to the next level? And I sent out an email, and one of my clients is like, when is that going to happen? And I said, when I'm inspired. She's like, when is this going to become reality? And I'm like, when I'm fully inspired, and that's not happening right now. So now is not the moment,
Mm-hmm.
And then the moment was this weekend, and it was like Friday. It was during a workshop. Which is normally not a time I do a lot of creating or like writing, but I outlined like I already have 70 to 100 lessons outlined. I wrote like a third of it, and it's ready to go, and it's already got probably 2 people in it to start on Monday.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's inspired action.
Ugh, so inspired action. And it's,
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about inspired action?
Oh my God, how it feels.
That's my answer. Like, it's that feel, like, there is nothing like that feeling, because everything is so easy. It's beyond easy. Like, easy doesn't even seem like
everything is
term.
So alive. It's full of life. It's not excitement. It's it is excitement, but it's joy. It's like pure joy for what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that description. You're right. Because it's there's nothing better. And what's interesting is I was even thinking about right before this inspired action hit, I was driving somewhere, and I drove by a lot with a Jeep. I started seeing. Yeah. And I was thinking, I'm like, literally, there's like enough money in the account. Like, it'd be no big deal to go buy a 4-door Jeep in this moment.
Yeah.
And yet it's so much fun when something is inspired that I am not doing it until it's inspired.
Yeah.
Like, just because it will be, the energy is just so much better, and it's so much more fun. Like, having the thing, whether it's a membership site or a business coaching thing or the Jeep, it's so much better when it comes through inspired action. Like, everything, it just feels so much better for the entire life of the thing.
Yeah. Imagine, and you live your life like that. You live your life from inspired action to inspired action, and only taking the most fulfilling actions or following that. And that's so exciting.
It is so exciting, which is what you said to me. I was like, yeah, I was thinking about the Jeep, and I told Jenny the story. She goes, because that's how you live your life. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because nothing else feels as good anymore. And I don't think I'd realized that fully until our conversation before we started recording, is that I live for those moments. So I'm willing to sit in and just be and enjoy the current moment, even if it feels, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, like, for me, it's felt a little, it's not stuck. It's not anything. I've just noticed, like, the same with you. It's like, I'm ready for the next thing. Like, it's just sitting in that moment, right? Being ready and just finding the ways to enjoy this moment even more until that inspired action hits. Like, I'm willing to look for more joy in the current, because the inspired action that follows that is, it is so
satisfying.
And decadent, and like, it's like all the best things.
I think that's one of the keys to be able to, we get a lot of questions come in from you guys about inspired action. Talk about that. How do I get into that kind of thing? And being able to access that consistently and having experiences like these, the other side of that is being as okay with the time that in between, because we literally, I don't think it would be energetically sustainable to live a whole life of inspired action. Like, we need the times where we're regenerating and we're going along happily, and getting okay with those times and really, really sinking in basically to those times. That's one of the keys to be able to easily move into inspired action. It's really, you really cannot, like, or this is my perspective, can't like make it happen. And it's just every time
you cannot.
You can't. And when you try, it's frustrating every time you try. And Lisa and I were just talking about this morning because she was feeling off for a bit, and she's like, and I felt her pain because I can like understand she wants to get out of it, but there's nothing you can do. You just can't fight it, you know? And then you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know a better way to talk about this, like the not fighting and the not trying. But I mean, it's based in everything we do. Like you focus on being the person you want to be and finding that flow and being in the allowing state and all of that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you said something that I want to make sure we highlight is that those times in between, they are for rejuvenation, because even though it's amazing energy, being an inspired action is action.
Yeah.
And it takes those reserves, like in a really good way, right? To execute.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of energy that is, you know, even though it came out really easy, like there's still a lot to do in writing my program. You know, like even though it basically wrote itself, like there's still an amount of energy, there's still an amount of time, there's still all of these things. And the same with you as you go through and you learn more about, you know, having this community that you want. Like there's a lot of energy that's going to go into it. There's a lot of action. And so those rejuvenation times, if we actually rejuvenate and we sit still and we enjoy the moments, we're just building up energy to fuel inspired action.
Go ahead.
Oh, what were you going to say?
No, keep going.
Oh, so it just hit me, like, is why if you're not willing to sit and you're not willing, like inspired action takes longer. Because, you know, a lot of people want to know, well, like, how do I get to that inspired action? But if there's not space, if you don't have the energy for truly what's that next inspired action, it can't show up.
Exactly.
Because there's no point in inspired action if it can't be followed through on.
Yeah. When I think, as you were talking and thinking about inspired action and this idea of like building up energy, it makes me think of lightning and how it's building inside the cloud or in the sky, wherever it comes from. It building, and then like, bam. And then you don't have like a whole night of straight lightning. It's like shoots and then it takes a second, and then it shoots and then bam. And then sometimes you have a whole storm and it happens all at once, and it's a lot of energy, and then it's, you know, it settles, right? And then the same idea of like building up energy and then like letting it all out.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Which
inspired lightning
Which is
action.
what happens. Yes. Yeah. It's what happens, and it's also why it's just so important to be clear and to be, you know, living your truth along the way and stepping into your future self, because all of that becomes so relevant as you execute. All of that is building energy. And it's also, it keeps you in alignment as you do the action.
Yes.
Yeah. It's and when you were talking about that, you've seen Sweet Home Alabama, right?
Yes.
Like the lightning, like that's what it reminds me of, like the beautiful glass it creates, right?
Right. Yes.
And you have to, like, they can't, they have to wait for the storm. Like you have to go when the storm is happening. You can't just go put your, thing in the sand on any day and think it's going to come.
Decide.
You have to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be when it's ready, and you have to go then, and you have to be in that energy, and it creates something beautiful.
Yeah. I think
what a waste. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to go on to something else.
Oh, I was just going to say, and what a waste if you just like sat around waiting for the lightning to come, right? Like no one would think that's a good idea. They would go live their life. But a lot of times when you're using LOA, that's what people do. Like they sit around waiting instead of going to enjoy something while inspired action is brewing, while the storm is coming. They just like sit there and stare at the sky and hope it's going to lightning.
Right. That's a really good distinction to make. In this is like the rejuvenation time is not waiting. It's not doing nothing. You're living. There's still tons of things you can appreciate. You can find joy in your life. There's still tons of way you can be your future self and be living your truth in those times. The inspired, it's in those times. Both Cassie and I said this, and in our experiences, it's like we know something's coming. And I know so many of my clients feel this. They know, they're like, I can feel something's coming. I can feel the momentum, and they really want to figure it out. And so they're like, okay, so I'm going to get clear about this. And I'm like, the more you try to figure it out, and you guys if you've been listening long enough now and paying attention to what's going on inside you, you know that try feeling. You know what that I'm trying to make this happen feels like. And you have to be willing to not engage in that at this time. Don't engage in that try stuff. Just let it be and embrace the build-up time. Embrace the rejuvenation times when the energy's building and swirling. Because like we've talked about before in other divine timing episodes, things are happening. Things are happening in the world to line you up, and things are happening within you to line you up, to be ready for this inspired action to have its full impact in your life. So knowing that feeling of I know it's coming, let that be enough. Get excited about that. And I have to say that is something I would do at times over the past few months. I did was okay, when's it coming? But right. It was brief times. Most of the time I was like, this is awesome. I know something's coming. And there wasn't a lot of pushing or forcing anything.
Yeah. I get it. I was the same place. I talked to you. I was sort of watching certain numbers, and I'm like, okay, we're going, we go, it seems a little I didn't put labels on this, but I could see how people would oh, we go forward and then back. We go forward and then back. And I'm just it's just holding the bubble. It's just waiting for the thing is coming that's going to skyrocket that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's coming that's going to skyrocket that. Love it. Okay. Do you want to take a little break here? Is this a good time to stop? And then we'll continue next week.
Yes.
All right. Hope everybody has an amazing week. And we're going to continue on with this amazing topic because we have so much inspiration to share next week. Have a good one.
Go be awesome.
Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.